Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Splatoon. Last time we finished up World 3 and found out that Captain Cuttlefish has been kidnapped. But luckily, we have met up with Agents 1 and 2 of the Squidbeak Splatoon, so we're not alone in this adventure. So with that said, let's go ahead and continue onwards with level 17. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and upgrade my gear a little bit. So we're actually going to increase the radius of these burst bombs because we use these things all the time, so we're going to increase it at least by 1, and I think I'm going to do the same thing with the splat bomb as well. So we're good to go now, so let's go ahead and jump into level 17. The incredible aim! Auto snipers ramparts. So as you can tell, a lot of auto snipers in this level. So the thing about octo snipers that you have to be really careful about is that these guys have some really good aim. So if you're not careful, you can easily get killed with these guys in like 1 or 2 shots, and you can get blindsided by them if you're not paying attention too. So the best thing to do with an octo sniper is throw a bomb in their area. That way you distract them. If you hit them with a burst bomb, you'll stun them for a moment, but the best thing to do is to throw a splat bomb at them because they'll be paying so much attention to that they won't even notice you coming. So what I like to do is I just throw a splat bomb in the general direction, distract them for a while, then I just rush up and attack them immediately. To be honest, it's probably the most effective thing to do because as long as they're distracted like that, you have plenty of time to attack. And you have a lot of time too, so take full advantage of that. Now right here is a really bad spot because I'm out in the open, so I gotta really hurry. Now here, I'm gonna be doing something a little risky. Gonna throw that bomb. Luckily for me, it distracted them long enough to actually do some damage, but if it wasn't fast enough, they would have recovered from that and attacked me instead. But here, this one is in a really nice place because this octo sniper is in an area where you can actually get a bomb stuck, and then you can just kill them in 1 shot, which is really, really convenient. So let's just get up here now before ink is just swept away, and let's go ahead and swap out to our burst bombs. Get through here real fast. And this is probably gonna be bad. Ooh, it's very bad. I don't know how I got through that without having any issues, but I did. I'm very surprised, to be honest, but we did it. Alright, so here we go. This is the final section. Here we're gonna have a lot of these octo snipers to deal with. And standard octolings, too. So let's just be very, very cautious here. So splat bombs are gonna be your friends right now because you gotta really distract these guys as much as you can. So here, be extremely careful. Throw a bomb. Please be distracted long enough. And he was. Sweet. Alright, just have this last one to deal with. Oh, actually, no. There's this friend up here, too. Completely forgot about him. Which is not good, because these guys are deadly. Don't forget about them. But there we go. Made it through unscathed. So, let's go ahead and grab our Zapfish and get out of here. These two cousins from Calamari Country won Inkopolis' first annual youth folk singing contest. Their remarkable voices earned them a standing ovation from all present and catapulting them into the spotlight. And that is the story of Callie and Marie, the two Squid sisters of Inkopolis. That is how they got their start. And man, what a start, right? Let's just go ahead and jump down. And what I like, I didn't actually get to mention this earlier, but when you're doing a jump like that, you can actually just clip through the floor. It's pretty funny to look at because that makes no sense. You just jump through the ground or you go through it by just jumping downwards. It makes no sense. But at the same time, it's hilarious to think about and probably pretty painful. You know, we haven't used one of these in a while. Let's go ahead and use our Seeker. That way we can go ahead and move through the level a little faster. And use it again right here. Some more points or eggs. I don't know why sometimes I call these things points. I guess I'm just used to that because items in the game is usually points as well as a collectible, so I'm just used to calling these points. I don't know why. I'm rambling. Let's just go ahead and move on. But what's nice about this level is literally right here in the second section, you can already get your scroll. So let's just go ahead and while we're waiting here, ink up this wall a little bit with our burst bombs. Unfortunately, a lot of that will come back, but we did a good amount of inking for now, so it'll make our lives a lot easier. Let's go ahead and climb up the wall and get our scroll. We already got our collectible to level, so that was really quick. And I am very surprised I made that jump. But since we already inked up this wall a little bit, it makes our climb up a lot easier and faster. But now with the scroll all the way, this level is going to be very, very simple. All we got to do is get to the end. And there's not really that much to worry about, luckily. So, we just have to be careful of all the bottomless pits, because as you can see, there is a lot of moments where we're over a bottomless pit. So, we got to be very careful with our jumps, but as long as you're careful, this level actually isn't that bad. It's probably one of the shorter levels in the game, especially for this point, too, because we're already pretty far along, and this level doesn't feel that terribly long, to be honest. Let's go ahead and grab our key. That way we can go ahead and make our way to the next section, which I do believe is the final section of this level, too. And yes, it is, because I see that Zapfish up ahead. And we got some Octolings coming up here, so we got a challenge here in the very end. Luckily, not much of a challenge, because these Octolings AI aren't the greatest. I feel like the worst thing about these things are their splat bombs. Outside of that, they're not much of a threat, because they kind of just walk around in a circle and stand there, so luckily for us, we don't have to worry about them as much as like actual human interactions in Splatoon, because those can be a lot more challenging than the Octolings can be. I swear, sometimes they just want you to kill them. It's ridiculous. It's Black Friday every day at the Booyah Base Ultra Mega Hyper Sale. Every deal's a doorbuster. If you want to be the freshest squid in Inkopolis, you cannot miss this incredible shopportunity. Which, to be fair, sounds like a slogan you would hear from a store here in the real world, so they're not that far off. Let's just go ahead and jump to our point and make our way to level 19, which should be over here somewhere, to be honest. So, we got a long ways to go, because I'm going to be actually opening up the way to a couple different levels. This is one of them here. It's actually a level we're going to be doing after 19, so that works out in our favor. But 19 should be down here, if I'm not mistaken. Let's jump down, activate this, and actually should be right here. Yeah, this is it. The Tumbling Splatforms. Let's go ahead and jump on into the level. Now this level here is pretty interesting because we have some moving platforms here that are different from the ones we've already been seeing in Splatoon. These platforms, they will be turning upside down and you can still be on them at that time. If you are on one of these platforms while they're upside down, no matter if you're in squid form or not, you will still die. So you have to be very, very careful when you're on these things, because even though you have tentacles on you that normally would let you stick to things, in Splatoon, you can't hang upside down thanks to your tentacles. So if you're not careful, you're not paying attention, you'll be on one of these moving platforms while they're turning upside down, and you will die. Be very, very careful of that, because I've had playthroughs where I wasn't paying attention and I have died because of just being careless. So you have to be very, very mindful of these things. But besides that, this level is not terribly difficult, to be honest, because it's pretty straightforward, as you can see. They lay out a lot of stuff in front of you, and you can see a lot of it ahead of time, so that already makes this level a lot easier to deal with at first, at least when it comes to just observation standpoint. But stuff like this is when it gets really nerve-wracking, because you got some leaps of faith because of the camera. Maybe it can't pan down fast enough, or it's so high up, it's a little disorienting, to be honest. But the scroll is here in the very final section, and it's actually pretty easy to miss because, as you can already see, it's kind of hidden away, so I have missed that one a couple times, and I had to come back to the level to find it. So just remember, in the final area, right after that final checkpoint, just turn around after you fall through the grates, and you'll get it. If you don't remember that, well, you're going to want to reset from the checkpoint, because that wall you can't climb up. The only way to get in there is to fall in through the grate. You can't climb up, and to me, that's really annoying, because I've had plenty of playthroughs where I forgot it was there, went through the grate, missed it, and had to kill myself just to have a second chance. Is the big fluffy one providing shelter for the little fishy one? Or is the little fishy one manipulating the big fluffy one? We may never know. Life questions right there. We don't know if the sea is the home of the sea creatures or the sea creatures are the home of the sea. It's kind of weird in context, that's for sure. Let's just jump to level 20. And let's go ahead and take care of the Octoling Uprising. So we have another Octoling style level, which means we get to see another multiplayer themed level, which is really cool. And last time we were here, I failed to mention where this map actually originated for me, because this map, when the game first came out, wasn't part of the rotation. Same for Kelp Dome, which we've already seen. I don't think we get to see again in our single player experience, so I'm going to talk about both of them now. This map and Kelp Dome, when the game first came out, were not in the multiplayer mode whatsoever. And that's because they were holding these off for an update, which came not too long after the game's release. I believe it's just a couple weeks. Kelp Dome came pretty fast from what I remember hearing, so by the time I got Splatoon, I believe Kelp Dome was already implemented, but this map wasn't. I do remember that, because I got Splatoon a couple weeks after it launched. If I'm not mistaken, Splatoon came out sometime around the end of May, and I didn't pick up my copy of the game until a couple weeks into June, so I didn't play Splatoon until a couple weeks after its release, but I do remember playing the online demo Splatoon had, the global test fires. That's how I experienced Splatoon for the first time, and just really convinced me that, yes, I should play this game, because it's a really solid game. And anyone who tells you otherwise, they haven't really tried it for themselves. It's a different style shooter. It's a very unique game, and because of that, I'm a big fan. As you can tell from how we're playing, you have a lot of your standard shooter tropes here, sure, but it does a lot of things different that it makes it pretty, as the game advertised with the slogan, fresh. And I can agree with that. This game is a fresh experience to the shooter world, and that's why I fell in love with it. It's such a solid game, and I can't wait to get to the multiplayer mode, because then you'll see the true reason why I fell in love with this game. Because while the single player is great, I feel the multiplayer just shines so much brighter. It's amazing. Squid Squad's new album, Fresh Kids, takes their trademark squidcore sound to a whole new level. Critics call it an aurora buffet of squidocratic psychedelicy, the perfect theme for any turf war. On sale now. Which I do believe, I don't know if that's the actual name for the official soundtrack, but I do believe they use that art somewhere in the soundtrack, because the art with the Squid Kids looks extremely familiar to me. And I think they use that somewhere, whether it be promotional or in the official OST, I'm not 100% sure. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. So, next time on Let's Play Splatoon, we'll finish up World 4, take on the boss, and make our way to World 5, maybe finding Cuttlefish there, we don't know. I'll see you guys next time.